Nagbabalik tayo dito sa Kababayan Today. Binabasa po natin ang libro ni David Haldane, tinatawag na Nazis and Nudists. Very interesting book, and the way that you are able to capture your experience in the Philippines is so vivid. And I'm glad you have agreed for us to read this. Let's continue. I'm sure it would feature lots of lazy, loopy swirls, perhaps enough to make the drawing saleable as a piece of modern art. And I can't even begin to describe my emotional turmoil at the prospect of losing my future wife's father at sea.
Somehow, though, the hours creep by. The afternoon wears on. Then suddenly, just before sunset, I see another horizon filled with sand. "You guys were gone a long time," says my fiancé, waiting impatiently on the beach. "It's complicated," I tell her. Then my soon-to-be father-in-law chimes in with a variation of his now familiar theme. "We both love my daughter," he says, still groggy from the ride.
And so it is that I, a mere foreigner challenged by a severe headache and a fair degree of cluelessness, am able to pass the infamous test of Tuba. I am not a stranger anymore. I have advanced to the bosom of the family. Thus, the stage is set. Time to bring my sweet, unvarnished love to the fires of the kiln that is America. And the next chapter is called My Imported Bride, but you're going to have to buy the book to read that. Okay, very provocative title, My Imported Bride.
Yes.
Let's talk about that because I can imagine that not a lot of people are happy with that title.
Well, that actually comes from a magazine article that I wrote about 3 years ago in Orange Coast Magazine, and that was the title that they gave the story, and it was very provocative, and I got incredible reactions, both positive and negative, probably more negative than positive about it. And that was kind of what inspired the book, really. You know, the reaction to that article, I just thought, wow, somehow I hit a nerve, and I think that that's still happening. There does seem to be a nerve out there on this, and I keep poking it.
Yes, you do, David, but you have completed the book. Where is this available if people would like to get a copy?
It's available on Amazon, at Amazon.com, of course. Just do a search on Nazis and Nudists or my name, David Haldane. You can also get it on Barnes & Noble website. And the publisher is Black Rose Writing. I believe they have it on their website as well.
Okay, so in parting, what is it about the Philippines that you just fell in love with? I know that's a loaded question, right, David?
Yeah.
But, you know, we are Filipino Americans. This show is primarily for the Filipino American audience. And we have a lot of Filipino Americans that have never even been back to their homeland in so long.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. So from your perspective, what was it about our islands that you just fell in love with?
Well, of course, the thing that immediately struck me was just the beauty of the islands, of course. You know, it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. But more than that, it's something about the spirit of the people. There seems to be a faith and an acceptance of life and a feeling of faith that no matter what happens and despite all evidence to the contrary, everything will be okay. And I love that. I want to be more like that. And I've learned to be a little more like that from my wife. And that's probably the main attraction for me.
Okay. Well, I do know that going back home to the Philippines is something that is in the horizon for you.
Absolutely.
And your wife, Ivy. You actually imagine living in the Philippines.
Well, more than imagine. We we bought a lot in Surigao City, in the outskirts on a hill overlooking the ocean with a lighthouse next to it. And it plays pretty prominently in the book, too. And that's really where the spot where I end up standing and saying, this is it, build it here, this is my home. So we're planning to build a house there, and we will ultimately, you know, live there a good deal of the time.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come to Kababayan today to share this book. And like you mentioned, you know, you've been getting a lot of comments. some good, some bad, a lot of negative. But I have to say, the show that we did about you and Ivy last year, I got a lot of phone calls as well. You are striking a nerve, and that's why we need to talk about it, right? Thank you so much, David. And once again, Nazis and Nudists, this is available for you to purchase. Make sure you read it and you really understand the implications of when we're negative about a union such as David and Ivy's, that we really understand why, right? It's looking into yourself to understand why that's the case. Maraming salamat, David.
Thank you.
All right, maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si G. Tonji. Thank you for watching Kababayan Today. Bye.
East West Players presents Criers for Hire by Giovanni Ortega, directed by John Lawrence Rivera. World premiere comedy featuring Joan Almedia.
14 years. 14 years since I gave birth to her at the lobby of Silahi's Hotel. Tapos I was gone within a month. No choice, no? I had to go to Japan. Naku, may abandonment issues yun.
Nicole Barreto.
Mag-chaperon kaya ako sa field trip na yan para malaman kung bakit napakamahal niyan.
Oh, wag, Ma!
Wag, ha? Gusto ko malaman kung sino pang sasama dyan.
Mga nerds lang. No need to worry.
Worry is my middle name. At mag-ingat ka sa mga lalaki. They only have one thing on their minds. You're puking!
Naman!
Samantha Kutaran.
Oh, that's right. Girly girl is coming. I can't wait to paint her face and dress her up like a Barbie doll.
Pwede ba, Genoveva? Be a good example for my daughter, ha?
Rudy Martinez. And Giselle Tonji.
Loka ka ba? You had to work in different countries and different cities so that she can have everything. If you didn't leave, she'd be a canto girl in Ermita or selling rosarios in Quiapo by now.
Totot siya.
Oy, totoo talaga.
Tickets on sale now. Get yours today. February 11 to March 13th. EastWestPlayers.org 213-625-7000. LA 18's Kababayan Today is a proud sponsor of East West Players Criers for Hire.